Bear with me, we are uploading here. Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Serendipity Sunday. I am so glad that you can join me this morning, where something good and unexpected is shared with you to start your week. Yes, that is what Serendipity Sunday means. Yeah, well, today, my message has to do with the replenishing law of automatic prosperity. That's correct. The replenishing law of automatic prosperity. At the conclusion of this message, you will be able to, or during this message, you'll be introduced to a better way of utilizing the law of your mind to experience wealth beyond work, moving beyond that trading time for money, how to get ahead in life without exhausting yourself. As we age, we can't work with the same vigor and vitality we had when we were younger. So if you're depending on working for wealth, guess what? There's come a time when you will not be able to expend the labor, and therefore your wealth will dry up. And the lastly, you'll be exposed this morning to the universal laws that, if known and applied, give you the means to increase your capacities and your abilities. So again, I want to say good morning to you all, those of you who have joined me via YouTube, whatever day and time it is that you are capturing this. And for those of you who are live this morning in the virtual sanctuary, I just came from a good brisk walk. And so I stopped by the sanctuary and to get some things together and prepare for this morning's presentation. If you are joining me through YouTube channel, go ahead right now and hit that subscribe button, or place a comment in the feed if you're with me on my virtual platform. Those of you who are in the virtual sanctuary, make sure you have subscribed to Oasis Spiritual Center for Divine Living's YouTube channel if you haven't done that. Now, let us go ahead and jump into this morning's message. There's a scripture, and the scripture says in Proverbs 23:4, don't wear yourself out to get rich. Do not trust in your own cleverness. There's a way that appears to be right to all of us. We start our lives out with, if I go into this career path, I'm assured to make this kind of money. And some of us just go through the doors of, or the path of least resistance and end up where we are. But the scripture clearly tells us in Proverbs 23:4 that we should not labor to get rich or to get our wealth. So if that means that we shouldn't be laboring, what should we actually be doing? I'm going to cover that with you this morning. It's good to see you all. Go ahead, make sure you put in that your feedback into the chat there, and I will address it as we go forward. So I want to talk firstly about, when we talk about laboring to get wealth, that is what many of us are doing. Many of us are inside of the trading our time for money, or perhaps you are trading a good or service for money. And, you know, we get tired of doing that. And so we want to begin to look at the fact that there has to be a better way, particularly if the scripture says that we shouldn't wear ourselves out. Now, it doesn't say you shouldn't do it, because there's a place in all of our lives, early in life in particular, where we do actually trade our time for money. Okay. And that's good. We want to talk about active income. Active income is the income you make from your job, your profession, your small business, or investments that you must personally manage. If you personally got to do this thing, then that's more of an active income. You can also call this trading time for money. It is typically taxed at the highest rate. That's something I wanted to throw in there this morning, that when you are trading time for money, or when you are working for someone else, and even those many people say they have their own business, their small business, if you're the one that's doing the business, guess what? You are actually an employee of your business, and you have to exert a level of energy. We want to get away from that. If you get paid by the hour, this is active income. I myself would consider most small businesses income to be active as well, because they are not really stepping back, stepping away. If you have to go turn the key to let the employees in, or if you're managing it at some level, guess what? You are still almost actually an employee of that business. If you can't walk away from a year and have your income continue to stream in, then it's not passive, it's active income. And so we want to learn that there's two ways you can have the active income, or you can have the passive stream. And so we kind of talking about that this morning, but I'm not talking about it in the way that you can go to a business channel or you can go to some traditional channel. I'm really introducing you to how to use the laws of the universe, the universal laws, in order that you may scale up. Okay. I always look around my business and my life and I ask this question: is this scalable? It's a concept that I read in the book called The 4-Hour Work Week. And that book was written by a gentleman by the name of Tim Ferriss. In other words, can you get more out of the same or less effort that you put in? And that's what I'm asking myself. Can I get more out of the same effort that I put in some other way? And usually that means automating. So I have always been a money maker. I have always been one that had the ability to generate what I need. As a young kid, I was making money at the age of 8. I used to go and carry people groceries from the store to their cars, to their homes. I shovel snow in the wintertime. I rake leaves in the fall. I cut grass in the actual summer. And in the spring, I even wash windows. So I always had a hustle going on. I always had a way, but many of those ways that I was creating my wealth had to do with me exerting energy. If I would have been smart enough, I would have been maybe hiring a crew to do some of that and began to step away from it. But the vast majority of individuals like myself, for the long period of my life, has been on what I call the TTFM train. The TTFM train, that is trading time for money. This can be exhausting, and it's even can be devastating if you lose your job. You know, there may be somebody who's on this call right here, right now, that are in between jobs, or perhaps you're not in between jobs, but you are in a job that is dead end when it comes to the possibility of creating wealth beyond your salary. For many of us, our salaries put us in the land of just enough. And then we find ourselves frustrating having to get another job. There's a better way. And there's a way that if you are aware of it, and if you really understand the principles, you can exploit it. So we want to move away from being on that train. The train is coming into the station today, and you can get off. You can get off that trading time for money train. And that's what I want you to do. There has to be some solutions. First, you must understand that if that is what you're doing, ultimately, you're going to find yourself not in a position where you can do it at the same level that you're doing it. There's going to come a point in time where you're going to retire. And then you're going to find that in many cases, your income is drastically cut. Even though you're not going to work and you have money coming in, your lifestyle doesn't change. If you were living at a $10,000 a month lifestyle prior to retiring, that lifestyle will continue to be at $10,000 a month. It may decrease slightly because you're not having to expend or have the expenses of going to work and all those things. But for the most part, you're still in that same vicinity. So the question becomes, what is the solution? Before we jump into the solutions, go ahead. I want you to subscribe. If you haven't just subscribed, I want you to make a comment this morning. What do you want to come away with this morning? If you haven't, do it now. Okay, let's do that. Now, getting to passive income. What is that? Passive income is what we all should be seeking to have at some level. Many of us have some passive income, but we are not really understanding the extent to which passive income should be the primary income that funds your lifestyle. So getting the passive income, that's income that comes because you're exploiting a system. What do you mean you're exploiting a system? Passive income is the income you get through investments, not a savings account. That's not really an investment. I'm talking about something that you're going to get a greater return on your money. Now, many of us, if you like me, I have, it wasn't until later in life that I gained any level of financial literacy, particularly for those of us who are African-American or who have maybe the first generation out of a poverty mindset. We still have not been taught the laws or how to operate with efficient literacy when it comes to financial matters. So that's something we all can do a little better at. That is becoming financially literate, knowing about bank accounts, knowing about investments, knowing a little bit about the markets, knowing about what's hot and what's not any longer. So we got to increase our financial literacy quotient. So you can make investments. That's one way of creating passive income. Real estate is one that many individuals have done for years, creating passive income through real estate, having enough property that generate income that takes care of itself, that also generates enough money to take care of the property, and then generates enough money that you can draw a salary from. Here's a newest one that many people are not aware of, and it's called content creation. What do I mean by content creation? Many individuals who spend a lot of time on social media, even in Twitter, in all the feeds, they do it for a reason, because they are generating income. Individuals who are such as myself, I'm a content creator. That's why I recently moved to the platform of YouTube. I know of individuals who are making anywhere just passively like $2,000 a month doing what they do, not exerting any extra effort, just putting up content that has quality, that gives someone information that they need, and then their ads are placed on their content. They generate this passive income. Now, some people do it passively, but then there's some people who do take on this passive approach in an aggressive way, in a way that they are really being deliberate and intentional. Using new methods of the internet. Now, I was talking to someone recently, and they were saying that they actually was talking to a client who was attempting to secure a loan, and they was inquiring as to what their income sources are. And the person has shared with them, well, I'm a content creator. And this particular loan officer wasn't really fully aware of that, although they are pretty up to date with using social media, but wasn't aware of this term content creator. And as a content creator, this person was making sums of like $20,000 a month, just creating content. Once the content is created and put up there, it goes to work for itself. I know of an individual who makes $40,000 a month. And this person doesn't have no degree, but they have a level of expertise. They understand social media. They understand how this platform could be used. And so they are exploiting it. So we have to understand that that person who is making money passively is the person who is securing wealth while they are yet asleep or while they are off on a vacation. If you are a small business owner, you may have a level of passive income, but at some point you got to get back and turn the key and check on the business. So even with passive income, there are some things you have to do to cultivate it, to make sure your systems are set up right. Now, I'm not going to go into that this morning, but I wanted to generate a conversation with you that the way you're going about it is probably to your detriment. If you are at the place in your life where your income stream is solely dependent upon the energy you put out, and usually we put out far more energy when we are working for someone than what we get back. Even though we get paid, we trading our time for money, or we're trading our good or our service for money. Like as a therapist, as a life coach, I have a set dollar that I would charge people, and I was trading time for money in that. Then I began to set up systems where I can create some product or create a actual service that is automated, and these individuals don't require my time, but I'm not me personally, but my expertise or whatever it's deliverable that they find value in, and then they pay for that. And now I'm not trading time for that, because my time is spent doing something else. My initial hour, 2 hours that I put into creating that is there, but then once it's up there and set, it's like having a piece of property. It generates income once a month. The wonderful thing about being a content creator inside of YouTube or some of the other platforms, that wealth is continually coming. It's continually, you continually get notifications that somebody has found value in what you offer, and they've procured it, they purchased it, or they've sown into it. Now, I want to share a couple of scriptures with you this morning to kind of set the stage as we continue to delve into the conversation of prosperity. Saturday mornings, I teach a class, and that class is the prosperity series, and we go over principles. Many people want wealth, but they don't even show up for the class. They don't even look at the archives. You know, it's one thing to desire something, but until the desire that you have reaches the tipping point of taking an action, you're just going to be frustrated. You're just wishing, you're just hoping, you're just dreaming. One of my favorite scriptures is found in the first division of Psalms, the very first division of Psalms, verses 1-3. It goes like this: "Blessed is the one who does not walk in step with the wicked, or stand in the way of the sinners, take or sit in the company of the mockers, but whose delight is in the law of the Lord, and who meditates on his law day and night." Verse 3 says, that person is like a tree planted by streams of water, not just a stream, but streams of water. And I'm talking about, you got to have multiple cash streams if you want to move from actively participating in wealth creation to passively being there and enjoying the many ways in which you can experience prosperity. That person is like a tree planted by a streams of water, which yields its fruit. Check this out: in season. And when is the season? Whenever you put a demand on it. And whose leaf does not wither. Come on now. Whatever they do prospers. That's for somebody this morning. Psalms 1-3. Psalms chapter 1, verses 1-3. Let's back that out. Blessed is the individual who does not walk in step with the masses. See, when you walk in step, the wicked usually represents the masses. The wicked does not mean diabolical. It means using world concepts. Blessed is the divine spiritual being who does not walk in lockstep with world concepts. Knowing this, many of the world concepts are really concepts that comes from the kingdom, but they have been taken on by individuals who are not doing a spiritual work, and they are working them. The word says it rains on the good as well as the bad. So a person who is let's say a bad person, a person who is living doing low vibrational stuff, if they understand the universal laws and work the universal laws, they work in their behalf. Psalms 1 tells us also that we should not stand in the way of sinners. We should not be around, keep company with individuals who, the word sinner means miss the mark, with people who are missing the mark. People who are missing the mark. You should not stand with them or sit in the company of mockers, individuals who make fun of people who are working the principles. Secondly, but whose delight is in the law. See, your delight has to be in the law of the universal principles. The word Lord means universal principles. Blessed is the person whose delight is in the law of the universal principles. Now, here's what we got to understand. There's a way that appears right unto man, but the end thereof is destruction. Delight means that you take pleasure in. It is something that you do. And who meditates? To meditate is to have it on your mind. It says, and who meditates on his law, its law, day and night, continually. I mean, you are always contemplating, meditating on the things of the universe or the things of the spirit. That person, the scripture says, is truly blessed and will have all types of streams coming to them that in season, when they need fruit, it manifests. Now, that's a prosperous person. So achieving prosperity means it means to increase our capacity and abilities. To be a prosperous person, you must increase your capacity to understand, to expand spiritual principles, and then move beyond human abilities into the possibilities of I can do all things through the Christ consciousness. So achieving prosperity means to increase our capacities and abilities along all lines and in every direction so that we release our inner powers. That's what it's all about. We talk about God is with us, God is in us, seeking to express as us. But we have to release the power of source that's in us. And that's also known as the Christ consciousness or the mind power. And we talk about that frequently here at Oasis Spiritual Center for Divine Living. The promotion, the money, and the contracts that you wish to make, all of those things are images or likenesses, as well as the physical forms of the states of mind that produce them. And what am I saying here? I'm saying that you have in your mind's eye an image. You have in your mind's eye a likeness of what you want to do, be, have, or experience. And ultimately, those things out or express as your physical life. And usually what is showing up in our physical life is a direct representation of what's happening in our spiritual or in our imagination. If you only can imagine that wealth comes by work, then that is the only thing that's going to show up in your life. You're going to be fixed on, I must find a job. The job is not the solution. This job can be a means to the end, but we are not called to walk inside of that. We got to be open to receive a new direction. Now, what are the things that you can do? One, you have to realize there is a better way. Are you at that point in your life right now? Are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? Are you tired of having to get up every morning to go to a job? And you've been doing this for 30 years, 40 years. Some of y'all are over in retirement and still having to do it because there was not proper investments made, or you didn't make enough money on that job. So even though you're getting a once a month check, it doesn't cover your lifestyle. And so you're kind of feeling as though you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. Now, there's some things you can do about that. First, it starts with realizing there is a better way. Secondly, now this is the one that many individuals fail to do. Secondly, I want you to be grateful or thankful for where you currently are. Okay, be grateful, be thankful for where you currently are. What do you mean be grateful, be thankful where I am? And I'm in the land of not even enough. How can I be thankful or grateful for that? Well, you got to start there. Our contrast, the things that are showing up in our lives that causes us or is the catalyst for us to want something different than we're getting, you should be grateful for that because it's saying to you that this ain't it, or there's something better than this. And if you have that desire show up in your life, then not only does the universe give you that desire, but it gives you the way to get that thing that you see, that you want to experience, that you desire to experience. So you got to be thankful for where you are as the contrast to where you desire to be. So as you look at the contrast of where I desire to be, I'm thankful for where I am because I've learned some lessons. I learned that I can't continue to go on like this. I can't do this anymore. The third thing I want you to do is to be open to receive direction. What do you mean be open to receive direction? Now, I've told you, Job 33:14 tells you that while you're asleep, God's source gives you a download. It drops into you direction, clarity, and wisdom, instruction. It also helps you adjust what you're doing. But Proverbs, now here's a new one for you. Proverbs chapter 8, verse 12 is a scripture that I want you to commit to memory. It says, wisdom, it reads, wisdom dwell with prudence and find out knowledge of witty inventions. So God, source will give you a witty invention. I'm going to delve into that deeper this Tuesday night. Transformation Tuesday, we do it every week at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. We have Transformation Tuesdays. This week, I'm going to drill down into this very topic. I'm going to drill down into how to exploit the laws or the law of replenishing prosperity. So that way, you don't have to look at what's going on in your life as though I got to continue to work because the only way I eat is if I work. No, or the only way I live is if I labor. While you're young, you should be learning something. You should be learning that there has to be a better way. So I want you to be open to that what you're doing is not good enough, that there is a better way. And if you're doing enough right now that is put you in a place of contentment, I want to challenge you to know that there's a place that goes beyond contentment. And that's really important that you grab that this morning. One of our participants this morning said, be grateful for where you are. And she says, I am grateful for where I am right now. Be open to receive the ideas, the witty inventions that inspire you, that will give you inspired action. See, there's good things to do. There's great things you can do. But the best thing you can do is the God thing. That thing that drops inside of you that comes from nowhere. It comes from the place of the imagination. It comes from the place of the field where everything already exists. The solution to your situation already exists. You just have to know how to get to it. So I want you to know that. And so as I wrap up this morning, I want to wrap up as we prepare to wrap up. Don't leave. There's some other things I want to share with you. I want to wrap up with you by introducing you to a prayer or an affirmation of prosperity. And I'll make it available to those of you who are part of the partnership with Oasis Spiritual Center. And if you want to be part of the partnership, all you have to do is join the mailing list and I'll send you the information. Here's the affirmation I use for continued prosperity in my life. Thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. I state that, Joshua 1:8. Then I go on and I say, I now give a pattern of success and prosperity to my deeper mind, which is the law. I now identify myself with the infinite source of all supply. I listen to the still small voice of source within me. This inner voice leads, guides, and governs all my activities. I am one with the abundance of source, and source is one with me. Source outsources that which it has. I know and I believe that there are new and better ways of conducting my life, my business. Infinite intelligence reveals these new ways to me. I am growing in wisdom and understanding. My business is God's business. My life is God's life. I am divinely prospered in all ways. Divine wisdom within me reveals the ways and means by which all my affairs are adjusted at the right way immediately. I walk in divine timing. The words of faith and conviction that I now speak open up all the necessary doors or avenues for my success and prosperity. I know that the Lord or the law will perfect that which concerns me. My feet are kept in the perfect path because I am a child, I am a son, I am a daughter of a living, active, loving, giving God. And so it is. Amen. How'd you like that? How'd you like that affirming prayer? What did you hear in there? You heard that I affirmed what I believe. What didn't you hear? You didn't hear me asking or petitioning for anything, but I was decreeing what is. Come on, that's what we have to learn to do. Too many of us are praying, hoping, asking when it is our birthright to be prosperous. Don't concern yourself with other people. Don't concern yourself with other people's condition. Concern yourself with yourself. So if this message has been a blessing to you, consider one, sowing a seed by going to the description below if you're on the YouTube and clicking on the links, or by visiting the website, oasisspiritualcenter.com, and going to the giving tab. And once you're there, you find the platform that fits your giving style and give according to the measure by which you've been blessed today. Thank you. Well, thanks for visiting. And if this message has been a blessing to you, I am excited. I believe that something has been said that has been good and unexpected, and that you received it. Until our next encounter, be blessed. All right, for those of you who are sticking around for the get down, that is sticking around for the end of the room conversation, I'm going to let my Facebook audience, my YouTube audience stick around too. I'm not going to cut it off. It'll just be cut off when I edit the final YouTube video. But I wanted to know, is there any questions this morning? Any comments this morning? I see a couple of hands. Good morning, Bessie. You have the mic. How are you doing this morning? Go ahead, Bessie. You can unmute yourself. I see your hand is up.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. And I see you, Felicity. I see you, Myrna. I'm going to come right back to you guys shortly. All right, Bessie, what's happening?
Yes, I thank God for this message. The enemy was trying to keep me from getting on the call line because of scheduling, but I said, no, I'm getting on this. I thank God that I did come get on this morning because it spoke directly to me.
Awesome. Awesome. See, God source is concerned about the things that concern you. So I hope not only has something been said, but you'll be able to take it for right action, inspired action. One thing I know about you, you've always been a frugal person. You've always been an individual who appears to have great business sense. Now God wants to take it to the next level.
Yes.
Awesome. Next level. Awesome. Good. Thank you for joining. And know this, even when you can't get on the call, don't sweat it, because we have that on-demand repository. If you go to the YouTube channel, I encourage everybody to go to the YouTube channel. Not only go there, but hit the subscribe, and then there's a bell of notification. That way, whenever I go live, if you're free, you could come live with me. If not, you at least know that there's a new teaching out there. Also, in the description part of the YouTube channel, it gives you a lot of other information. So if you really want to get the most out of your relationship with the Oasis Spiritual Center for Divine Living, the most out of the relationship with me, take advantage of all the little tools that I put out there for you guys, because what concerns you concerns me. All right, Bessie, is there anything else?
That's it. Thank you.
Awesome. Be blessed. And I'll get that prayer of affirmation to you. Okay. Awesome. Good morning, Minister Felicity. You have the mic, and I'm coming right to you, Sister Myrna. Minister Felicity, good morning.
Good morning. I also enjoyed the teaching greatly, and I put in the comments that I really believe that the people of God should be the most like on the cutting edge of thinking. And this is, the most cutting edge way to think about income. And there's no way we should be thinking like the world. And so that was one thing I wanted to share. And this teaching is with that. And then the second thing was that it just came to me when you said the affirmation again, and I've been thinking about this. The most powerful miracle producing times in my life have been with me choosing to believe my affirmations when everything looks contrary. The ability to keep a good attitude during what we would consider contrast seems to me like the super grow in or fertilizer, in soil. Because it's like if I look back on every time that I've really had a miracle, it's been because of that. And so I just wanted to share that with everybody. I know I said it on Friday, I think it was, but again, it's not the affirmation itself. It's the fact that you prove you believe the affirmation when you say it and affirm it in your own heart when all hell is breaking loose. That's the time for it.
Yes. Now that I like that. The contrast is like the manure. Manure is that which farmers put around the plants. It cultivates, it grows, it activates. And so when you have contrast, it activates the power of life and death. That is, either you could speak life or you can speak death upon yourself. So your affirmations are activators of life. And so that's why we have to, when our back is against the wall, when it appears that the road ahead is all uphill, when it appears that everything is going awry, you stand in an affirmation. Your affirmation affirms you. It helps you to stand still. It says, be still and know. See, we at a place where we have to move from believing to knowing. Be still and know that God in you is working through you to get to you, whatever it is that frees you up. Awesome. Thank you for that, Mr. Felicity.
That's what I'm saying.
That's right. See, I like this. I like to get down for the after conversation, because I get to hear how other people are using the principles. And it goes beyond just a mere testimony. It's the testament that it works if you work it. Is that not true? Awesome. Let's see here. Sister Myrna, good morning. Sister Myrna, how are you doing? You have the mic. Let me see. I allow to talk. There you go. There you go. Sister Myrna, how are you doing this morning?
I'm hitting unmute. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I hear you. I hear you now.
Okay.
Your people are working. We can hear you.
Thank you. I first want to pour into you and thank you so very much for your tenacity, your boldness, and your willingness to be obedient to what you hear in your head on what the Holy Spirit and what God is giving you to share. There's a lot of talking heads out here, and I'm grateful for you synthesizing so much that we're hearing from new thought, so much that we're hearing from the Kemetic teaching, so much that we're hearing from our pastors, and so you're able to synthesize and just give us a different way of thinking. That doesn't mean we have to agree, it's just different. And so it's wonderful for us to be able to ponder and go back and pray with our own personal relationship with God and with Source, to then confirm or say, I don't know, I got some more questions about that. And so I just want to thank you, first of all, for just being your willingness and your obedience to do that. And then in addition to that, having been one of those pots that is being filled by the Spirit through you, I feel very strongly that we have a responsibility to not talk to other people, but to go and do it, to go and exercise what you're teaching us. And our work will show that we're doing something different. Our work will show, our actions will show, and people will come to us and say, what you doing? Well, how is that happening? And we don't have to speak against anything. It's not, we don't have to talk against anything, because that to me brings up confusion or brings up contention. You can either follow me and do as I'm doing, which is trying my best to be obedient to what the Spirit says, or you can keep doing what you're doing. And the question is, how is that working for you? You know, if it's working, then keep doing it. If it's not, then don't. And so just want to just kind of encourage all of us that are on the line to just keep doing what we're doing. I just said to my daughter, and then I'll finish with this. I just said to my daughter that she has to work her gift. Yes. And whatever that gift is, and if you don't know what that gift is, sit before the Lord and discover, seek to discover, because it's natural, and that naturalness is a fish never stops swimming because the gift of the fish is to swim. A bird never stops flying because the gift is in the flying. And so we never stop working because the gift is in the work is in our gift, the gift is in our work. And you never retire from your work. You may retire from your job, as Miles Monroe, one of my favorite persons, said. You may retire from your job, but you never retire from your work. And your work is your gift. And so the way to show that you appreciate your gift, I always say, is perfecting your gift. That's how you show the gift giver that you appreciate the gift, is how you perfect it. You never stop learning. You are always seeking to perfect and better your gift. So I just wanted to just put that out there.
Don't go nowhere, because somebody sent me a comment. They said, when is Myrna preaching? I said, I'm going to ask her, and we're going to have a conversation. Because we all are ambassadors. We all have something to give. We all have a voice. We all have something to say. Come on now, we got to understand, the internet should show us this. We have individuals, a whole generation of kids who are content creators, and people think they're crazy, but these kids has the capacity to make more in 1 month than many of us make all year. And exactly. So we have to teach our kids, we have to give our kids our wisdom to add to their knowledge. And that way our kids can be so much more powerful. Man, I got some teenagers I got two groups of grandkids. I got the teenagers and the babies. My teenagers, I'm feeling challenged to pour into them and really give them these principles that by the time they're 60, it'll be a whole new world for them. Come on. I appreciate what you said this morning, Myrna, and that we all have to come to the realization that, like you said, fish swim, birds fly. We have to know that we should be continually being God. We say this, we all say it, we say, I am God. But we still are allowing God to be held captive to the limiting thoughts. When we come to the realization of how much God is in us, waiting to be expressed through us, when God gets the okay from each of us to express fully as us, through us, man, you will be able to do some things that we have yet to see men do. Because the word says all creation waits for the sons and daughters of God to take the stage.
It's moaning and groaning.
Come on, that's right. See, hey y'all, I'm gonna get her. She's gonna be on our channel as our guest speaker here really soon. And she has another gift too that I'll let her express with us in due season. But thank you, Sister Myrna. I pray things are well with you, your mom, the entire family. And can you do us a favor? Can you share the testimony regarding your daughter? Most of them don't know your daughter, but can you share the testimony? Something wonderful just recently happened to your daughter.
Yes, my daughter is a film producer of indie films. We're based in Atlanta, and one of the 5 films that she produced last year was submitted and accepted at South by Southwest Film Festival, and they won an award there, the Director in Community Award for this competition that they had, and it's for short films. And so she won, their film won, and so she was recognized, and she is flying high on that, so much so that they are right now in New York they're doing a screening, and so they're screening the film in New York, in Atlanta, and in LA. And oh, by the way, she's going to be in St. Louis doing a music video next week, Greg. So I have to make sure she reaches out to you.
That's right. I'm gonna be right there on the sideline looking.
Yeah, because she's one of her friends is in film as well, but his passion is music, and so he wants to do a music video, and he asked her to produce it
Awesome.
for him, and so he's coming back to St. Louis to home to do the music video.
I look forward to that. And if I can be of service to them in any way, let me know.
Okay, do that.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Well, good. So that's what Serendipity Sunday is all about. Serendipity means something good and unexpected. And you never know who is in the audience. You may be the one that we need to hear from. So you guys have a wonderful day. I will get this together for you, upload it, and we will have it in our archives for the on-demand in the futures. Peace. I'm out. I'm Asar. Peace.